and welcome to the Windsor Star News Cafe. We are here in advance of the Windsor Comedy Festival, the first annual, I might add, with a bunch of funny people. I'll let them go around the ring here. I'd like to point out that strategically there's 7 of us and we have 6 mics. We do that because we only have 6 mics, but going around the horn here. As you can see,
my name is Mark. My name is Mark Debonis.
That was awesome.
I don't know intro ever.
My name is Barry Taylor.
I'm Steph, Tolev.
Trevor Wilson.
David Fresh. John Peladeau.
And they're all here in town tonight for a performance. I got to tell you that Stephen Colbert once referred to Windsor as the worst place on earth. He was wrong. But I noticed that you spoke well about Whitby, Ontario once before. I'm wondering, is that the kind of thing you talk about whenever you go to any town?
Well, Windsor is kind of shitty, no offense. I don't know if it's the worst place ever, but I don't know, Whitby's...
That's a great start.
I don't know, come see us tonight.
I like Windsor.
I can tell by the way you dress.
I got out of the car and I was like, I don't feel underdressed. I feel like I'm a local.
Actually, there's 4 of you guys, or I think about 4 of you, that came in the same car together?
Yeah.
Us 4, yeah.
So what's that like? Is it 4 comedians in a car? Are you guys serious, or?
A lot of crying.
I think the most amazing thing was Trev is able to pass out mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did so a couple times.
Drop right off.
But he's still talking about what we're talking about. Like, he doesn't come in with completely random things. Like, he'll pop in, say something, and just pass out again.
It was kind of...
It's like a pet dispenser.
So I take it he was the one driving?
Trev, yeah. That's why it took us a little long to get here.
Hey, there's a couple of local boys here, John Peladeau and Dave Merheje. And I gotta ask you guys, we can start with you. Is there anything of a local comedy club scene in this area?
Yeah, actually, we actually have 2 clubs in this area. We've got Leo's Comedy Corner out on Forest Glade, and we've got the Rockhead Comedy Quarry on Ottawa Street. So 2 clubs where you can check out performing acts like these guys every weekend. Not these guys every weekend, but like...
In all honesty, I've never been to Leo's Corner, but I have played the Rockhead.
You've played the Rockhead?
Oh yeah, last September, or this past September with Barry.
But Leo's is just Leo's, I think. He does 2 weeks.
Leo headlines every show.
Headlines every show.
Yeah, they do a lot of fundraisers, and they do a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that. It's really what their specialty is.
What kind of things do you like to talk about?
I talk about everything. I like to talk to the audience. I like to meet people. I really like to be off the cuff and make fun of people in the audience and stuff like that.
Dave, same thing. I think you sometimes talk about being Arabic and those kinds of things, and being suspected of being a terrorist when all you're doing is walking through the store.
Yeah, a while ago. That was I talk about, because just sometimes, like, for 5 minutes, I guess, or just to let them know what my background is. Sometimes it could be confusing, so just to put it out there that I come from a Lebanese heritage.
But you're Windsor born, aren't you?
Originally, yes.
Windsor born. You live in Toronto now.
For a while, I've been there for like 10 years, I'd say.
And in keeping with the theme, I think you razz Windsor when you're up in Toronto as well.
I make fun of it, like not all the, I don't call it shit. I'm sorry. Actually, I've called it, no, not worse, but it came through hard times. There's a lot of strip joints, man, as you know. Well, I don't know if you know.
There is?
Yeah.
Since when? No, and so what else do you talk about Windsor, though, when you're away?
That there's probably a lot of Lebanese people.
There is a lot of Lebanese people.
There's like a Lebanese radio station now.
And a Lebanese mayor.
Yeah, Lebanese mayor.
Yeah.
The weirdest bathroom I ever used was in Windsor.
Okay.
Do tell.
It was we were doing a gig at that pizza place.
That's so bad.
And the stall door was like a stable door. It only, like it came up to here. And like, so you're sitting down on the toilet and your head and shoulder are sticking out over the top of the door. So it's actually giving you no, like anyone could just walk in and like, hey, what's going on over on this side? And
did they give you an umbrella?
I could lean out and wave to people using the urinals.
Yeah, we're proud of that one.
tell them about the. Well, didn't we go to the Golden Griddle in the morning on Sunday morning?
Oh yeah.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
we were probably still drunk from.
We were still drunk, yelling at the crepe dude who was making the crepes.
Tom O'Donnell intimidated him.
Yeah,
he still had blood on his shirt from a fight the night before.
Yeah. That tells you how Windsor is. See, you can get a good fight in and a breakfast.
Denis made a comment that one old woman looked like she swallowed a wine barrel.
Okay. See, these are all some of the fun things that happen in Windsor. We're proud of that stall door. By the way, we saved up for that one. But you are actually recording some comedians. Is that right?
Yeah. I started a record label called Comedy Records, and we put out comedy albums. And these guys are all on the label, and we sort of work together and run it together. And it's a big fat community of fun us.
But that's a new thing you started this year?
No, it was back in the summer of 2010, I guess. So yeah, we put out albums and releases, and then build shows and tours around them, and do that kind of stuff, like this, for instance.
Are all of these fine comedians on your records?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And there's what is there, 6 other people, and yeah, we just do shows together and.
Colleges, we do colleges together.
Yeah.
We record 1 album, and then
yeah.
It's kind of like a
2 compilation albums, a couple solo albums, and boom.
And the sketch comedy albums as well. It's more like a collective where we work together, but everyone kind of does their own thing too. Just because it's stand-up comedy, you got to do your own thing. So.
But what's the comedy scene like these days? I mean, can you make a living? Is it going good guns, or do you gotta?
You can make a living.
Slowly. It takes a while to make a living.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. You don't get into comedy in Canada to become rich.
No.
You get into it because you like hotels and drinking.
Motel.
Except the motel that we stayed in Windsor. It's terrifying. It's called the Murder Den. There's blood on the walls.
Oh, that guy has good breakfast though.
Oh, yeah, the breakfast is delicious. But the rooms, you get murdered while you sleep.
I got bit by bed bugs.
So you get the comedy because you like hotels and drinking. I'm sensing a theme.
And also that it'll pay off in the future. It won't happen like overnight, but I think it's just the public assumes that it's like a crappy thing, that you're just like this poor individual. There are some that are poor, I guess, but there's comedians in Canada that are well off and doing great. It's just that you need to put time in. It's just not going to happen overnight.
Is it the kind of thing you have to get to the level where you're on a TV show or?
No, you can make money touring.
You don't have to be on TV.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt though.
Yeah, it helps, but I think it's just the public's like, if you're not on TV, you ain't doing shit. Kind of thing.
When you're starting out, you should be ready to sleep in your car at some point.
Yeah, there's no real star system in Canada, right? So if you're on TV or not, it's just kind of who bothers the person more is really who gets work.
As in phoning the person up and saying, I want a gig?
Yeah, just be like, hey, can I come down in the new year, and then some people expect it to come to them, and then they're the ones who complain that there's no money in comedy, right?
And it's just Canada's more polite, and it just, I don't know, that's why there's no star system. Everyone's like, I don't know, should we, it's that meek, outlook on everything. Yeah. So that's why that developed no star system, because there's no arrogance. You go to the States and a guy can do, because I started, I knew comics from Michigan. They do comedy twice, and the guy'd have a business card. It's like, how do you have a business card? He goes, man, and then he'd book himself a week at, that confident, that here we're there's comics that are have so much and they don't even have a website. You're like, where's your website? You're like, for what? You're like, man, you're touring all over the world. It's just a difference between the cultures.
Well, I have to ask Steph, I know you've been asked this, I'm sure 100 times, but here, no, 101st. Being a woman in it, there's obviously, you're just usually surrounded by men in this business. How does that help or hurt?
Sleep with a lot of men, I'm kidding.
You're a woman?
I like to fool people. I carry around a fake dick all the time just to make people, I don't know what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like it's a bit harder, but I feel like I work as hard as anybody else, so.
But harder in what way?
I don't know. I think I get judged a bit sometimes just by walking on stage before I even say anything. People have that idea that, oh, it's a girl, she's not funny kind of thing. And then sometimes it takes a bit to get past that, but I make fun of myself enough so people don't really notice, I guess.
Well, how long does it take to have a career? How long have you guys generally been? You seem all fairly young.
I've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah. It's not something you just say, "Hey, I'm a comedian," and you walk on the stage. You got to.
No.
Nope.
It takes.
I've been at it 13 years. So.
Like Mark was saying, a lot of it's a sort of a DIY thing where you got to kind of make stuff happen in Canada, and then if that goes well, maybe you can travel around to the UK or the States or that. But yeah, it's all sort of it's a lot of work, basically.
I remember seeing a documentary with Jerry Seinfeld, and he was talking about how much work it takes to come up with funny bits, and that you have to practice it to get even like 20 minutes worth. He says you're working on it for months and months. Is that true, or?
Yeah, you have to put in so much time. And that's why sometimes you have like an audience member go, "Hey man, I think I could do this." It's because I think everybody on the planet has told one joke that they thought was funny and got one laugh, and they assume that they could do that, which they can't. And it's because I can't play a guitar, so naturally you're like, I'm not gonna try. Comedy, you're like, I've told a crappy joke in a bar to my crappy family and they all laugh to amuse me. Now I can go on stage for 45 minutes, and it's rampant. It's like every town you go to, there's some jerk that thinks they can do stand-up kind of thing. So because it takes a lot of time to put in, a lot of work, like you've seen in that documentary.
Well, now that you mentioned it, we're talking about heckling. How much of a problem is that? Or
well, I was actually thinking about this. I was somewhere a couple months ago, and I was thinking the reason why stand-up is so hard, like with heckling and stuff, in bar environments, it's the only creative thing where it's 100% original thought. So when you're in a bar and you're saying, "Hey, these are my views on the world," you're drinking, you don't care what I have my thoughts, you just want to hear Journey. You just want to hear a song that you grew up listening to. And that's why it's so hard to do comedy, because it's like, you're listening to people, because like Steph said, you're judged before you even hit the microphone, right? So if you don't like me, you don't care what I have to say, you don't want to hear my thoughts, but if I, play something that you're like, oh yeah, now I can keep talking because this background music's going on. But stand-up, it's like, you're talking over somebody else. So that's why it's kind of hard, but there's obviously hecklers everywhere. I personally feel like they're lost comics, but it's whatever. Yeah. Everyone, like Dave was saying, thinks they're hilarious. No one goes to have a good time. Oh, let's just laugh. They're like, how funny is this guy? And if he's funnier than me, I'll then laugh. If not, I'm going to yell at him.
I think we've all had that guy in the audience too, who's usually the funny guy
in his group
of friends, and now he's had one too many wobbly pops, and he's sitting there pissed off that no one's paying attention to him, and he just decides to chirp up to get attention. And normally at that point he's too far gone. Like he's not going to have anything intelligent to say. Like I've literally had a guy just making noises of disbelief in the crowd. Like after every joke I told, I just hear, "Oh yeah, oh sure, yeah, right, right, yeah, oh yeah, oh I believe that, yeah." Then it's like, do you have a problem? Oh yeah.
There was a guy, it wasn't even a comedy room, it was like a music open mic, I guess, and this comic from Montreal was on stage. Not even on stage, he was on a patio outside, and this guy on a bike rode by and heckled him, shot him the finger, and then the comic was trying to talk back to him, but he was gone, obviously he's on a bike, so he goes back to his act, and the guy comes back 5 minutes later, and he's like, "Come on, man," just
It's
like, who heckles? Like, that's how bad they hate comedy.
It's one of the reasons I hate outdoor shows, or any show where you're performing in front of a bay window where you can't see what's going on behind you.
Yeah.
I did a show in Sault Ste. Marie, and literally every weirdo in Sault Ste. Marie walked past the window while I was doing the show.
Even promoters sometimes they don't understand. They may not understand stand-up, so they'll just say things like, "Do you actually need a mic?" Like you're like, "What?" Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, we don't. The mic's not working. Do you need one?" And you're like, "Yeah, man. It's like it's part of. That's the only thing."
Sure, the only thing. Yeah.
So it's like not even as the audience. It sometimes doesn't get you as a comic. Even the promoter might not is just putting on a show.
It's the idea that you can be funny anywhere if you're a good comic. It's like, okay, go stand in the corner and make people laugh. That's comedy. It's like, I'm not a clown, Like I'm not gonna go out there and do a dance.
We're selling beer tickets, man.
Do clown dance.
You got balloon animals?
well, okay.
Our one buddy got hired for a comedy show, and afterwards they asked if they could dwarf toss him. He was a little person. Like we have a harness. It's like, that's not what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional tossing dwarf.
We had dwarf tossing in Windsor actually one time. It was at a strip club.
Yeah, cheetahs. Right, cheetahs, right?
I think
That's
you're right.
surprising to this town.
Can we go there tonight?
You
Yeah, we go to cheetah.
you get extra points if you toss them into the stable door bathroom.
I wasn't actually there that night, believe it or not. But well, that's what I needed. Anybody want to end it with a joke?
You guys are dwarf tossing?
Dude, this is what I understand. Is like we don't care down here.
Apparently, that's
we're not.
We even had a member of provincial parliament, Sandra Puputello, try to have it banned, but it didn't go very far. But anyway.
The people are like, no. I don't think we're getting rid of dwarf tossing. Thank you very much.
You can take away our indoor cigarettes, but you can't take away our dwarf tossing.
Teach that guy.
All right.
Or we can switch it to dwarf bowling. How about that? That's an actual thing.
Let's go here.
Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming. A little taste of what you might get at the Windsor Comedy Festival tonight. For the Windsor Star, I'm Craig Pearson in the Windsor Star News Cafe. Thanks a lot. That was great.